实是最好的审判官. Facts are the best judges. Xiefeng, January 27, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. No matter how charming, how beautiful, or how extravagantly colorful your words may be, they are worthless. Let them be confirmed by facts. Any theory or preaching that is not supported by facts is not credible. Any conclusive discourse that cannot be verified by facts is the resorting to sophistry and is irrational. Theories that have been proven to be unworkable, including those in the so-called classics, have all been fabricated. All theories and discourses that have not been verified by facts are falsehoods and should be dismissed. If in the face of facts, you still resort to sophistry, try to cover them up in every possible way, try to find all kinds of excuses, and argue with others about them, it can surely be said that you are unreasonable. We cannot prove the rationality and correctness of one theory using another theory, just as a lie cannot prove itself not a lie by still another lie. The only way to prove its rationality and correctness is to show the facts. If the facts cannot prove that you are right, then all your theories and preaching are false. If you say that you can grow a 200-kilogram Chinese cabbage, well, do it and show us your 200-kilogram Chinese cabbage. If you say that you are a Buddhist master, okay, first, educate a Buddha and let us see the result. If you say that you are a master of traditional Chinese culture and are proficient in traditional culture, okay, please let us see the facts about your respect for your parents, harmony between you and your wife, harmony in your neighborhood, and the filial piety in your children. It's easy to speak big and beautiful words, but they only count when you can put them into practice. Otherwise, they are only catchphrases and are all a form of self-deception. To verify whether a person has real talents, real connotation, and whether he lives up to his words, we should not listen to what he says, but we should see what he is doing and what he has done. Facts are the best judges. To verify whether a set of theories and a doctrine are reasonable, legal, and will conform to human nature, we can only let the facts speak for themselves, because facts are the best judges. If there are no facts, they are just nonsense. Respecting facts is the basic morality of a human being. 观世间百态明天国之路. Observe the human natures of the world and understand the way to heaven. Xiefeng, November 14, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. I have traveled 20 years on the path of life Changyuan, the way of the greatest creator. Looking back, I feel more and more that I have chosen the right path. This path is the way to heaven. Other than that, I haven't seen any other way that is simpler, easier, clearer, and more direct. The most direct evidence is that more than 70 Changyuan celestials have become celestial beings. Among them, there are 3 families. 8 out of 10 members of one family have become celestial beings, a family of 5 have all become celestial beings, and a family of 3 have all become celestial beings. Old people can enjoy their twilight years, the children can grow up healthily and are all outstanding, and I have to admire the magic and ingenuity of this path. With 20 changings of the seasons, I have thoroughly and clearly seen through the world, the shortcomings of Western and Eastern civilizations, the state of life and the confusion of everyone, and the root cause of the suffering of human beings and its effect on everyone. Looking at this magnificent picture of history in the world, I thus understand the limitations and helplessness of Jesus, Shakyamuni, Lao Tzu, Muhammad, and the saints and sages of the past. I also understand the confusion and defects of capitalism and socialism. The most valuable thing is that I understand that the presidents of various countries are not celestial beings, but mortals, and that the philosophers, scientists, professors, experts, artists, celebrities, rich men, and masters that appeared in the world are also in confusion. They are also living their lives in a muddle-headed way. The most interesting thing is to look at the lives of the toiling people, which are pathetic, sad, pitiful, and regrettable. The more stubborn that people are, the more they do not understand the truth and reason. The more stubborn that people are, the more miserable they are. There is another interesting phenomenon. The more people like reasoning with others, the more they do not understand the truth. Fall into a pit of one's own digging seems to be very suitable for people who like reasoning. People who pursue the extraordinary and enjoy being ordinary are very pitiful. People who pursue the extraordinary seem to stand and shout in the wind, a bit like a madman does, while people who indulge in the ordinary are a bit like pigs reared in a pigsty, they just know no other way. Those who truly understand the truth of the world are those who have returned from the extraordinary to the ordinary, and they are the ones who enjoy life. The ordinary that has never been extraordinary is mediocre, and extraordinary that has not returned to the ordinary is impetuous. The plot of the world will never be played out according to any individual subjective will. Presidents cannot do it, sages cannot do it, and the general public cannot do it. That is how the Tao is running. All conditioned dharmas will be in vain like bubbles. Only those who know that it will rain tomorrow and go out with umbrellas are those who know the plot in their hearts. And those who know the plot and give guidance to others are the enlightened masters of the world. As a human, no matter what you say or do, you will attend to one thing and lose another. Life without an ultimate goal is a life of confusion. No matter how great and brilliant one feels, it is a life of clouds, a life of contradictions, and a life of misery, because when death comes, you will feel sad because of fear and helplessness. Without a frame of reference and a reference object as the benchmark of self-improvement and self-refinement, people will be at a loss. All people's words and deeds will be a form of blundering. When the sun comes out, they will be happy for a while, and when the sun goes down, they will be lost for a while, and they cannot achieve long-lasting tranquility, joy, and peace of mind. A truth needs to be revealed. That is, the more one is ordinary and lacks material wealth, the easier it is for him to become celestial. And the more knowledgeable, capable, and materially rich one is, the more difficult it will be for him to become celestial. This is probably also the reflection of the justness and fairness of the universe's balance mechanism. That is, if you have obtained the benefits of this shore, you will no longer have your welfare on the other shore. A tiger cannot grow wings on its back. With the blessings of the world, you can no longer look forward to the happiness of heaven. According to the practice of life genuine, what Christ Jesus says is true. Happy are you who are poor. Happy are you who are in need of food now. Happy are you who are weeping now. Those who have become celestials in life genuine were all once poor, hungry, and weeping people, while those who are wealthy, full of food, and laughing did not become celestials. It turns out that the greatest creator has been protecting his disadvantaged people. From the laws of the world, people are right no matter what they say and do, and there is no one who is wrong. From the perspective of the law of sublimation of life, people are wrong no matter what they say or do, and there are few people who are right. The chicken soup for the soul is delicious, but it is mostly made of the insight of people with elusive thinking. If you drink too much, you will be drunk and fall into the dust. 与我交往，不要诉说你的烦恼痛苦. When associating with me, do not tell me about your troubles and your pain. Xiefeng, November 18, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Peter. I follow the philosophy of the Superman. This world should be given to those who work hard without fear of hardships, but are always optimistic and romantic. People who talk about their misfortunes and worries all day long should withdraw from the historical stage of this world. Passive, negative, pessimistic people radiate negative energy, and it is too exhausting to associate with people who are full of negative energy. I do not owe you anything, so why should I bear your misfortune and pain? When surviving and living in this era of the world, which one of us is free from troubles and pains? It is just that the strong bury their worries and pains deeply in their hearts as nourishment and motivation to forge ahead. Only the weak talk about their worries and pains all day long and treat others as their emotional trash cans into which they dump the trash that is in their minds. With people who often tell others about their misfortunes and pains, their energy level is below 200, which is a kind of pathological psychology. Not only can they not live out their own lives, but they will also pollute the spirits and souls of others. As the messenger of the greatest creator, the incarnation of gods, Buddhas, and celestials, I, Xiefeng, came to the world to look for healthy people, not to look for sick people, not referring to physical diseases, but to spiritual diseases, let alone to cure people. I harvest ripe crops. Ripe crops are full and flawless. Do not think that I am here to help people in distress. Some people say Xiefeng is a Ziwei saint. That's only your wishful thinking. I won't do a stupid thing like that. I do not even have enough time to flirt with and seduce my sisters-in-law. So how can I have time to take care of your mess? Do not pretend to be pitiful in front of me so that I can feel pity for you. If you help yourself, I will help you. If you want to destroy yourself, I will help to destroy you. To whoever wants to hang himself, I will secretly prepare a rope for you to hang yourself with, and then you cannot live out a life of sunshine and color. If you want sunshine, I will give you light. If you want darkness, your wish will be fulfilled. In addition, I hope netizens do not give me advice, do not try to point out the right way to me, and do not insult my IQ. I follow the concept of do not offer help if someone does not ask for it. If I didn't ask you, do not help me. Of course, if you think your EQ, IQ, and SQ, spiritual quotient, are higher than mine, then teach me. But once you start teaching me, I'm going to ask you 100,000 questions, and if you cannot answer them, then shut up early in the conversation. Either follow me or go your own way. If you follow me, then do exactly what I say. Xiefeng will never collaborate with anyone, let alone ask anyone to teach me how to walk and how to handle my affairs. Oh people, live out your life of sunshine and colors. In this way, you will benefit endlessly and add a bright splendor to society. That is the correct way of living. 成就别人才能成就自己. You can only fulfill your mission in life by helping others. Xiefeng, December 4th, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. When flour is made into steamed buns, its mission has been accomplished. When the fruit of the tree is ripe, its mission has been accomplished. When people say farewell to the world with no regrets in the end, their missions in their lives have been accomplished. When a person is sublimated into an immortal or Buddha, his mission in life has been accomplished. When a person dies, no matter what his status has been, rich or poor, famous or wise, if he still has concerns, remorse, resentment, regret, nostalgia, and fear, it proves that his mission in life has not yet been accomplished. On the contrary, if his life is fulfilled, his mission has been accomplished. The process of helping others is actually the fulfilling of yourself. The more you help others, the greater your achievements will be. The more a person serves others, the greater his achievements will be. The reason why Jesus and Sakyamuni became God and Buddha is because of the great number of individuals that they served. Of all the services, the number of beneficiaries of formless almsgiving is the widest and most extensive, so those who give formless alms have achieved the most. Whether I, Xiefeng, can achieve my mission in life or not in the end depends entirely on what Chanyuan Celestials can achieve or what they can't. If Chanyuan Celestials achieve much, I will definitely have achieved much. The more Chanyuan Celestials achieve, the greater my achievements will be. If Chanyuan Celestials cannot achieve anything, then Xiefeng is just a bunch of stinky shit, nothing more. So, what I will achieve in life will be by helping Chanyuan Celestials in fulfilling themselves. The recent phenomenon of Great Freedom, Transformation of Lotus, network name, has fully proved this point. To help others is to fulfill themselves. Great Freedom, Transformation of Lotus, not only forwarded and disseminated a great amount of Life Genuine content in many WeChat groups, but also wrote articles explaining the values of Life Genuine and the essence of Xiefeng. By this, she is helping others. As a result, the reputation of Lotus Celestial herself is getting better and better. At least more than 100 Chanyuan Celestials are full of praise for her. Think about it, many people can only receive praise from a few others, while Lotus Celestial has been praised by more than 100 people in a short period of time, which is not a small achievement. If it is not for helping others, how can she receive praise from them? If you do not help others, who will help you? I have been in contact with many people. Take WeChat group netizens as an example. Most of them add me on WeChat just to promote themselves, to absorb the nourishment of others, but they never want to pay even a little. Not to mention forwarding Chanyuan articles, they are not even willing to pay me by clicking a like. It shows how stingy and selfish they are. So how can they make any achievements? Some netizens really have profound wisdom and understand a lot of truths, but they do not understand the truth that they cannot achieve anything themselves unless they help others. As time goes by, they will completely be submerged in the long river of history, and everything they did will have been pointless. From this, we know that the more selfish we are, the less we will accomplish ourselves, and the more selfless we are, the more we will accomplish ourselves. No matter how much and how profound is truth that we have understood, if you do not put it into your own actions, it will only be a fleeting cloud. No one will trust a man who talks a lot without any actions, or if his actions are inconsistent with what he says. In today's world, as far as the group is concerned, Chanyuan Celestials are persons who understand truth the most. Just think about it. After suffering so many devastating blows for over 10 years, Chanyuan Celestials are still full of confidence and are optimistic, romantic, and keep on building new homes, playing and laughing, moving on together happily. Why? This is only because Chanyuan Celestials are all selfless and unselfish people who want to help others and fulfill the cause of life of Chanyuan. Chanyuan Celestials only want to give and dedicate, never care about personal gains and losses, and never think of themselves. What is the result? Of course, their lives have all been fulfilled. I said the above just to point out a bright way ahead for those who are predestined. If you want to fulfill yourself, then go all out to help others. Otherwise, everything you do, and you yourself, will come to nothing. 女子如何征服大丈夫? How a woman will conquer a real man. Xiefeng. January 1st, 2021. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Peter. We know that a real man does not bully weak women. This is a real man's weakness. As long as you focus on this weakness and exert your strength, you will surely be able to conquer the real man. How do you exert your strength? Being cutesy, acting flirtatiously, showing weakness, showing softness, and being obedient. With these 5 actions, a real man will surely be under your control. When encountering a real man, women must never show rigidity, indulgence, toughness, willfulness, and viciousness. These characteristics cannot subdue a real man, because a real man is rigid inside, and if you use rigidity to control his rigidity, it will lead to conflict and both will get hurt. Only with softness can you overcome firmness. At the same time, in the face of a real man, women must not use words and expressions of grievance, blame, condemnation, and resentment. These characteristics will keep a real man 1,000 miles away, and a real man is free of all passive, negative, and pessimistic emotions. These words are something that a real man is unwilling to accept or bear. Treating a real man in the same way as treating an ordinary man would be extremely inappropriate. If you do not believe me, try it. 人生的又一个奥秘. Another mystery of life. Xiefeng. January 17th, 2021. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Peter. Someone was going to build a luxury villa somewhere, the drawings were ready, and the materials were ready. At that time, a geologist came and told him, I can tell you 100% for sure that in 4 years, there will be a big earthquake where you choose to build the villa and then all the buildings will be razed to the ground. Could you tell me, will the owner of the villa continue building it? Someone's child was admitted to a famous university in the United States, and the whole family celebrated. Then a fortune teller came and said, it's better for your child not to go to study in the United States, because in 4 years, on the day of his graduation, he will be involved in a car accident. I would like to ask, will this person still want to send his child to go to the university in the United States? Someone was going to invest 1 million yuan in a real estate business, when a stranger came and said, you'd better stop doing business in real estate. You will make 100 million in the first 10 years, but in the 11th year you will not only go bankrupt, but also be taken to prison and all your property will be confiscated. The question, is he still planning to get into the real estate business? When a person knows exactly that what he is doing will bring him misfortune in the near future, generally speaking, he will stop acting on it. The problem is that when a couple are about to conceive and give birth, they do not need to ask anyone. Everyone knows that the child they give birth to will surely die when he grows up. Even if they know that the child will surely die, people will still give birth to children. Throughout the history of human beings, the vast majority of people's lives will end in tragedy, and their lives will be spent in trouble, pain, anxiety, and sorrow. Even so, people will come to the world and have a try at it. They have all devoted themselves to the hard work and struggle in life with the fluke mentality of, I will live well. Generation after generation, they have been multiplying like this, which can be described as, in the Changjiang River, the waves behind drive those ahead, and no tears will come when you do not see the coffin. Why are you so irrational? The reason is that people do not know what will happen tomorrow, so they live with hope and anticipation. They can't help themselves but are pushed by their survival instinct and by the tide. There is no other way but to do so. This is the mystery. People enter the world to experience life. The process of life is a process of experience. Apart from this, these people have nothing to gain. Knowing this mystery, we will find that the geologist, the fortune teller, and the stranger mentioned at the beginning of the article did a bad thing. They should not tell the truth to the builder, should not tell the parents what will happen to their kid who will go to school in the United States 4 years later, should not tell the one who is going to become a real estate businessman what will happen in 10 years, because the truth deprives them of the process of experiencing life. Just imagine if you tell a newborn pig, when you grow up and you will be fattened, people will stab a knife into your heart to kill you and then they will eat you. Can this pig still have a happy and joyous life? It is cruel to tell the truth. It is more in line with human nature and natural law to let people live in a daze. Even if the truth is told, few people are willing to believe it. Sometimes lies are more compassionate than the truth. Live happily. Every day should be a happy day, and life experience is very important. 背西洋面朝阳. Will you go backwards to the sunset or face the rising sun? Xiefeng. November 27, 2022. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Toward evening, feeling indisposed and listless, I drove my chariot to an ancient elevation. The setting sun looks glorious indeed, only it is so close to dusk. Since it is near dusk, the sun will set, and darkness will consume the earth. The red sun rises in the east with majestic momentum, and the first rays of the sun color the gown of the Green Mountain. Thousands of miles of mountains and rivers receive their charm from the sun, while the rain and dew lead the literary excellence for the ages. When facing the rising sun, always start the new day full of energy. Throw yourself into the embrace of the rising sun, and your future will be assured. Sunset industries will soon be eliminated. For example, with mobile phone cameras, who will make Kodak cameras and point-and-shoot cameras anymore? Who wants to make ox carts and carriages when there are cars? Who wants to buy a flashlight when you can have a mobile phone? Who wants to buy a city traffic map when you have mobile phone navigation? With the popularity of cars with an automatic transmission, who will make cars with a manual transmission? Who will hire workers on the assembly line since robots are now available? With more powerful social software, who will go to QQ? With 800G mobile phones, who will make 20G mobile phones? Yesterday, a lot of industries disappeared. Today, many enterprises have closed. Tomorrow, many people will lose their jobs. The sunset industry is on the verge of bankruptcy and close and entering the history museum. Do you feel sorry? There is no time for regrets or remorse or no chance to repent or hate. It is worthless and meaningless. When the Qing dynasty replaced the Ming dynasty, those patriots who opposed the Qing dynasty and tried to restore the Ming dynasty became synonymous with reactionary, and their ending was bound to be tragic. With the iPhone 13 Apple mobile phone, other mobile phones will gradually be eliminated by the mobile phone market. And with the Musk Starlink mobile phone, the iPhone 13 will also enter decline. It is an inevitability of the development of human society and an inevitability of history that old generations will be replaced by new ones, and the waves behind will push forward the waves ahead of them. When we stand on the top of the mountain in the Life-Genuine era and look down at all the activities in the world, we will find that many people's pursuits are blind, and they are desperately chasing the sunset, such as the men and women racking their brains and making real effort to get married and start a family. They are running into the darkness and are both pathetic and pitiful, while the Chanyuan celestials who have already climbed to the peak will enjoy the beautiful scenery of the mountains and rivers, but they are still worrying and anxious about whether to plant radish or corn on their small piece of land at the foot of the mountain. With the second home model, who wants to save money to buy a house for themselves? Who wants to sharpen their brains and become a civil servant? Who wants to start a business for their own family? Who will engage in making social connections? With the 800 values for new era human beings, who would study law to become a lawyer or judge? Who still racks their brains to become an official? Who wants to be a soldier and die for his country? Who wants to join a political party or a church? In today's world, only Life-Genuine is a sunrise industry, which is breaking through the horizon and preparing to rise to illuminate the mountains and rivers, while all other activities are sunset industries. In the near future, entering the second home will be the equivalent to owning one of Musk's Starlink mobile phones, with all its powerful functions, and the rest will be like flashlights, cameras, calculators, televisions, newspapers, magazines, ox carts, and carriages, all of which will disappear on the horizon of the setting sun. Those who engage in sunset industries are wasting their time and energy and are working diligently in vain. Those who enter Life Genuine are creating a sunrise industry. Although in the beginning it will be difficult, they will definitely develop with vigor and their futures will be bright. 理想人生全景文解 The panoramic interpretation of an ideal life. Xiefeng, April 2nd, 2022. Translated by Qin Yu, edited by Peter. From birth to death, what is the best way to live one's life? Birth, 3 years old. Being accompanied by the mother, since having a mother's company is the safest, warmest, and most comfortable life during infancy. 4 to 6 years old, being accompanied by friends of the same age to live a collective life, supplemented by the guidance of a caring aunt. The whole process is mainly about games and entertainment. 7 to 12 years old, eating together, living together, and going to school together with friends of the same age, learning the knowledge of life, the relationship between man and nature, and properly participating in the labor of all aspects of life, cultivating the ability to live independently, being taught by teachers. There should be more female teachers than male teachers. 13 to 18 years old, should keep on living a collective life, mainly learning science skills, along with music, dance, art, and gymnastics, etc., supplemented by the physiology of puberty and the knowledge of health. Allow them to fall in love freely. Those who are tall and mature early are encouraged to try to have sex. Let them be full of longing for life, full of reverence for life, and full of enthusiasm for life. During this period, they should be guided at least by sage-level adults, preferably celestial guides, and there should be more male than female. It is strictly forbidden for an ignorant person, the laity, and mortals to enter the sphere of adolescent children's lives. 19 to 22 years old, living in a semi-collective life, eating together, but no longer living together. They should carry out high-intensity training in groups according to their different hobbies and specialties, reading extensively, practicing a lot, letting their intelligence explode, and letting them solve all the problems that arise in their lives. Let them understand and master all the historical knowledge and the scientific frontier of knowledge accumulated by human beings. Encourage adventure, uniqueness, completely let go of their sex lives. Let them fully experience the beauty of sex. 23 to 28 years old, this is a period of burning passion, a period full of vitality and creativity. Education and guidance should be stopped to allow everyone to create and live according to their love, giving them maximum freedom to do what they want. Don't interfere with them, don't preach morals, just let their nature fully bloom. During this period, each person should have at least 1 or 2 children. 29 to 46 years old, are ripe peaches, the most vigorous time, the most creative season. They should maximize the creation of material wealth and spiritual wealth in their respective positions and fields and create the living environment they want the most. 47 to 60 years old, having accumulated a wealth of life experience, tasted the ups and downs of life. This is the stage of transcendence and the sublimation of life, to fully create spiritual wealth and soul wealth, to become a teacher for children and a role model for young people, to create the most ideal humanistic environment. 61 to 70 years old, mature and fruitful years. They should live like saints, with a benevolent and kind countenance, being calm and steady, like Mount Tai. Be loved by children, consulted by young people, respected by middle-aged people. They are the ballast stone in collective life, the lights in the night. 70 to 120 years old, living a leisurely life, enjoying their carefree and happy old age. The 8 crises of life. There is no maternal love in infancy, a childhood without playmates and a lack of play. There is no education in the knowledge of life in a juvenile. There is no school and sweet love in adolescence. Having no faith and only rushing about and working for food, clothing, housing, and transportation at a young age. In middle age, being tortured by family conflicts and suppressed by the anxiety of survival. In elderly age, being afflicted with illness and having no one around to take care of them. In old age, living a lonely life and being unaccompanied till death. The above 8 major crises in life are perfectly eliminated and resolved in the second home of Life Genuine. Therefore, the production and living mode of the second home is the most ideal way of life for human beings. 包容 equals 纵容. Tolerance equals complicity. Xiefeng. January 21st, 2021. Translated by Qin Yu. Edited by Peter. There is a kind of tolerance that is tantamount to complicity. I am here to talk specifically about this kind of tolerance. I left 3 WeChat groups yesterday. The reason for my leaving was the uncivilized language in those 3 groups. In 2 of these groups, a person named Lunatic Wong is always saying "fuck your mother" and using other vulgar and crude words. Barbarians like him and many people not only praise him for his knowledge and wisdom, but also tolerate him as well. Feeling helpless and unable to bear the foul atmosphere in the group, I left. The reason why Lunatic Wong used swear words unscrupulously was because he found that people would tolerate his barbaric behavior. So, he feigned madness and acted like an idiot, acted irrationally, and cursed heaven and anyone he could. The language he used is so nasty, vulgar, filthy, and dirty that no one in the past and no one in the future will be able to surpass him. Other people tolerate this despicable and shameless person and are even singing praises for him. This is the pure acceptance of evil. As a spiritual practitioner, I cannot connive with evil to such a degree, or even associate with him, speak with him on the same stage, which shows how far the world of spiritual cultivation has fallen. When evil occupies the platform of discourse and morals degenerate to their extremities, no one should blame others. We should blame ourselves for being too tolerant of falsehoods, evil, and ugliness. This tolerance is complicity, and it is when we are compliant of ugly deeds and ugly words by each of us that it leads to the indecencies that are swaggering through the streets and running rampant. Tolerance refers to the non-interference of personality differences under the same attribute. For example, various flowers have the same attribute. Under the same attribute, peonies need to tolerate thorny roses, chrysanthemums need to tolerate winter plums that bloom in cold weather, and bougainvillea that blooms all year round need to tolerate epiphyllum, whose flowering period is only a few hours. Another example is that truth, kindness, beauty, love, faith, sincerity, peace, and harmony should mutually tolerate each other, because they are all the same attributes. When things are completely different in nature, they cannot tolerate each other. Here tolerance equals complicity. Truth, goodness, and beauty cannot tolerate falsehoods, evil, and ugliness. The sun cannot tolerate darkness, fire cannot tolerate water, and a beautiful environment cannot tolerate garbage. Imagine that there are 8 dishes on the dinner table, and someone brings a plate of feces. May I ask, will you tolerate it? The Chinese nation regards bearing shame and humiliation as a positive virtue. This kind of value is problematic. The cultivated world praises tolerance highly, to show that they have broad minds and noble feelings. How hypocritical this is. Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism all emphasize tolerance. So Chinese people are particularly tolerant, but it is precisely because everyone can tolerate that the Chinese characteristic of tolerance has been formed. This tolerance for humiliation makes people feel angry, but they do not speak and dare not stop and resist in their behavior, and all take the gentleman style of, if you are patient in one moment of anger, you will escape 100 days of sorrow. In the long run, people will live awkwardly, but they have nowhere to vent. In the end, they can only swallow their anger and comfort themselves with having a tolerant mentality. In China, the phenomenon of queue jumping occurs often because the Chinese are good at tolerance. I lived in Zimbabwe for more than 10 years. The commercial, industrial, and living areas of this country are completely separated. Office workers who work in the city during the day need to take the shuttle bus to go home after work. Every day, there are many people waiting in line for the bus, but queue jumping rarely occurs there. Why? Because people are not tolerant of line jumpers, so it is impossible to cut into a line. Once, I was queuing up at a place to pay electricity and water bills. Suddenly, a black guy walked to the window without queuing up. Several old white ladies in the back immediately protested. They not only yelled, But an old lady also even stepped forward and dragged the black guy to the back of the line. They just would not tolerate the behavior of queue jumping. Just because everyone was not tolerant, so an overall good sense of order was achieved. A Canadian mayor slapped his subordinate, and this subordinate called the police. The police rushed to the spot and took the mayor to the police station in handcuffs. That night, the mayor was detained in a cell with no windows, no bed, no bedding, and no urinal. When he wanted to go to the toilet, he would knock on the door and make a report. At 9 o'clock the next morning, the police handcuffed him again, added anklets, stuffed him into an armored prison car, and he went straight to the local court. The judge sentenced him to go to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation to see if he had any mental problems that had caused the violence and sentenced him not associate with this subordinate whom he had beaten at any time. If he encounters this subordinate by chance, he must immediately and unconditionally maintain a distance of more than 200 meters from him. Any violation, it will be treated as the crime of contempt of court. After returning home, the mayor had to resign. 3 months later, the court's final decision was, 1. He is not allowed to carry knives or guns or ammunition with him for the rest of his life. 2. For the period of 1 year, he needs to report his situation to the Community Crime Prevention Agency every month, and he must ask the Community Crime Prevention Agency for leave and report back after a leave of absence when he leaves his residence to do business and then returns to his residence. It can be said that Chinese people will tolerate the mayor slapping a subordinate in the face, and even if a ruffian beats somebody up, Chinese people generally will tolerate it. It's mainly because of this tolerance that the offender can act boldly and arbitrarily. This is all caused by tolerance. This kind of irrational and no bottom-line connivance-style tolerance can be seen everywhere. In the family, when the children are unhappy, they lie on the ground and cry. Grandparents and parents not only fail to instruct them in time, but also coax them. Some students in the school will bully other students, and teachers and principals are also tolerant of this. More cases are between husbands and wives, who often have trouble with each other, but then they tolerate each other. Most of the WeChat groups on the internet are tolerant of those who speak rudely and humiliate others. Over time, the whole society becomes tolerant, so crimes are rampant. In the new oasis for life created by Life Genuine, why do people behave in a noble way, and why is everything in order? The reason is that we never tolerate bad words and deeds. Not only do we not tolerate fighting and swearing, but we also never tolerate the behaviors of boozing, whoring, gambling, and smoking, and we even never tolerate the behavior of the wasting of food and property. No one can leave any food in the rice bowl after eating. Not just leaving food behind, but even leaving a few grains of rice in the bowl is not allowed. Anyone who dares to throw trash down casually can try it. Anyone who dares to sexually harass women can try it. Anyone who dares to hide public goods privately can try it. Anyone who dares to peep into the privacy of others can try it. Anyone who dares to take indolence and covet enjoyment can try it. If one recommits this act after being warned, he will be expelled from the home. Someone taught me and said, "You need to be more tolerant and accept everything." I answered immediately, "I am not a trash can or a trash pit. How can I tolerate and accept everything?" Some people call those creatures that talk filthily and often say, "Fuck your mother," as superior and master. Their values are reversed to such a degree. No wonder that these superiors and masters have sprung up like mushrooms in the land of China. 分工负责的价值和意义. The value and significance of division of labor. Xiefeng, January 30th, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. First, let's look at these equations. Which equation do you think has the greatest power? 1 plus 1 equals 0, 1 plus 1 equals 11, plus 1 equals 21, plus 1 equals 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me explain. 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. When two people live together without division of labor, regardless of the size of tasks, they work together and are busy all day without time for leisure or study. Due to differences in personality and views, they criticize, nitpick, and attack each other, wasting their time and energy on pointless arguments. They end up achieving nothing, and their life accomplishments equal 0. 1 plus 1 is equal to 1. When two people live together and work on tasks without internal conflict, their results equal what one person could accomplish alone. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Two people living together, each doing their own thing, without interfering with each other, results in the achievement of two people. 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. Two people living together, dividing responsibilities, cooperating seamlessly, and working together on specific tasks, results in the achievement of 3 people. 1 plus 1 is equal to 9. Two people living together, with clear division of all tasks, sharing common goals, and no internal conflicts, results in the achievement of what would normally take 9 people to accomplish. The above is a theoretical analysis, but what is the actual situation like? Please carefully consider how your own living situation with others is like, especially the achievements of 2 people living together as a couple. What I want to tell everyone is that based on my analysis and practical experience, whether it is 2 people, 3 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, or even all the people on Earth living together, the greatest achievement comes from dividing tasks and responsibilities. If tasks are not clearly defined and everyone wants to meddle in everything, or if you are building airplanes, I am also building airplanes, and he is also building airplanes, it will not only waste resources and human effort, but also create competition. The result of competition can be lower costs, increased efficiency, and better quality, but it will also lead to enormous waste of resources and moral degradation, which is not worth it. By playing to each person's strengths, refining tasks, sharing common goals, and cooperating seamlessly without interference, this kind of team, whether it is a team of 2, 8, or 10,000 people, can achieve results that are multiples of what individuals can achieve. This approach does not waste resources nor create tensions between individuals, because there is no internal friction or competition. From a couple to various countries around the world, if we follow the theory of dividing tasks and responsibilities, humanity will enter a golden age where there will be no more wars, waste of Earth's resources will be eliminated, and social turmoil will be eradicated. Border controls between countries will no longer be necessary, and we will enter a harmonious era of global integration. Of course, to achieve the above ideal, it seems that only the Life-Genuine values and the second home model can bear such a heavy responsibility at present. 请看看你是不是你自己. Please take a look and see if you are yourself. Xiefeng. October 5, 2020. Edited by Qin Yu. If we have interacted with many people, we will find that people change and are unpredictable. We cannot figure out what kind of person they really are. There is a saying that human hearts are hard to fathom. Even after decades of being together, we may still find the other person to be a stranger, causing us to feel lost in life. At this time, when we feel that others are difficult to fathom, we need to have a self-recognition. Who am I really? Am I myself? Am I also a fickle and unpredictable person? It is not difficult to know oneself, and we can reason it out this way. You see a peach tree with ripe peaches hanging from its branches. You pick one, take a bite, and feel the sweetness and fragrance in your mouth. You like it from the bottom of your heart and believe that this peach is a fairy peach. However, someone comes over and tells you that this peach is a demonic peach, which will turn people into demons when eaten. Later, someone else says that this peach is a desire peach, which will generate desires in people. Desires are like the chains that drag people down to hell. The question is, what will you do now? Will you continue to eat or stop eating from now on? If you follow your own feelings and continue to eat, then you are yourself. If you listen to the evaluations of others and stop eating, then you are not yourself. You are just a puppet, possessed by the consciousness of others. Have you ever experienced the taste of sexual love, especially the excitement brought by having an affair? If you feel excited, wonderful, and blissful and want to enjoy this happiness for the rest of your life, what will you do when you see an article that describes the harm of sex, such as your energy is going to drain from below and warns of the difficulty of becoming enlightened due to lustful thoughts? If you continue to enjoy the sexual pleasure and ignore the teachings of others, even ignoring the teachings of Buddhists and gods, then you are yourself. On the other hand, if you restrain the driving force in your heart and no longer engage in sexual activity, then you are not yourself. You are a puppet controlled by the thoughts of others, without any intellectual or independent consciousness. You cannot be considered a complete and independent person. Suppose you are a Chanyuan celestial. You have lived in the new oasis for life, and you sincerely like this new way of life and want to live in it for the rest of your life. Now, someone says that Life Genuine is a cult and an illegal organization, and Xiefeng is a big demon who cheats people out of money and sex. What will you do? You start to waver, gradually moving away from Life Genuine and no longer daring to live in the new oasis for life, fearing that you will be deceived or suppressed. At this point, you have betrayed your own heart, abandoned your true feelings, and you are no longer yourself. You have been kidnapped by fear and have lost your true self. People often say that they should stick to the truth, but what is the truth? At the most basic level, the truth is your inner feelings, your inner driving force. When you listen to external judgments and preaching and go against your innermost driving force to speak and act, you have violated the truth. When you violate the truth, you are not yourself, you are a fake person. The words you speak do not come from yourself. You are just a megaphone. You will always be influenced by the outside world, and you have no roots. During my time at the Beijing University of International Business and Economics, I had a roommate who always said, "My wife said." Regardless of the topic, he always said, "My wife said." Later, we gave him a nickname, Mrs. Said. Is he still himself? Of course not. He is just a shadow of his wife. There are many such people. Some say, "My mother said." Some say, "My master said." Some say, "The guru said." Some say, "The Buddha said." Some say, "The organization said," and so on. These people have no selves and cannot find themselves. Of course, this no self is miles away from selflessness. Every day on the internet, we can see articles that come like a tsunami, but upon careful reading, we find that they are all things taken from others. Some have only been slightly decorated, but fundamentally, they are not their own true voice and feelings. It is very unfortunate that once you cannot find yourself, cannot live out your true self, you will ultimately regret it, and regret it for the rest of your life. Don't believe me? Go ask people over 60 years old who have lived their whole lives following others' correct and instructive ways, never living according to their true desires. As they near death, can they not regret it? Yesterday, in a WeChat group, I saw a woman say a few words. She said, "People around me always ask me to be more stable." Be stable, my ass. I am like a grasshopper in the autumn, and I can't jump around for many more days. What stability? After reading her heartfelt words, I felt that a true person had emerged. Only the world of true people is the most exciting world, and only in the life of true people is there a heavenly life. If the surroundings are full of fake people, floating like ghosts, how can life be happy and fulfilling? How can one not be lost? 走出他人设置的程序圈圈 Breaking out of the program circles set by others. Xiefeng, January 29th, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. I installed a towel rack yesterday, which gave me a revelation. If I followed the manufacturer's complicated installation process, I would have had a difficult time installing it, and it may not have even been successful. So, I thought, it's just a towel rack. Why must I follow the manufacturer's installation process? I discarded almost all of the parts that the manufacturer provided and thought of a solution that followed the principle of least resistance. In the end, I easily installed the towel rack, and it not only looked sturdy but also perfect. Think about our lives. We are born into this world and must live until we eventually enter the grave. We only have a few decades to navigate the great river of life. Where can we find the easiest and simplest path through this journey? Think about all those celebrities, officials, wealthy individuals, experts, professors, judges, lawyers, and so on. No matter how illustrious and honorable their lives may have been, they also only lived for a few decades. Once they die, they become nothing. Those who live their lives in a constant rush, busy pursuing their goals, before they know it, they are old and about to enter the grave. They competed and struggled throughout their lives, only to have everything they gained become nothing. If we play out the process of human birth to death, we will discover that human life is both sad and pitiful. Some people take pride and arrogance in the prosperity of their descendants, but what is pitiful is that they themselves have only been living in a dream. As they die, their dreams shatter, and few of their descendants will visit their graves to burn incense and pay their respects. Even if their descendants come to burn incense and pay respects every day, they will never feel the memory and mourning of their offspring. Let's take a look at the life trajectory of an ordinary person. Birth, education, work, marriage, children, supporting their family and children, retirement, and then death. What have they experienced throughout this journey? They have experienced joy, sickness, struggle, sexual happiness, fatigue, hardship, anxiety, worry, pain, anger, frustration, and fear. We suddenly realize that human life is simply replicating the path of our predecessors. Except for changes in tools and material prosperity, the essence of human existence has hardly changed. Have you noticed? Everyone is following someone else's program circle, just like home buyers taking out loans and making monthly payments according to the program designed by the seller and the bank, being misled by the program into having unrealistic dreams. And marriage, starting a family, having children, and retirement are all programs designed by others, and the vast majority of people spend their entire lives in this magical program. I discarded the manufacturer's design and complex program and installed the towel rack in a simpler and easier way. To make life more valuable and meaningful, one must step out of the program circle designed by others, otherwise they can only follow in the footsteps of those who came before. In life, there are only two things that are most valuable and meaningful. One is to make oneself happy, and the other is to find the path to heaven. Everything else is nonsense. From the perspective of maintaining happiness and finding the path to heaven, 95% of people spend their lives talking nonsense, doing nonsense, and worrying and being anxious about nonsense. 看看自己有没有生存的价值. Take a look at whether you have any value in existence. Xiefeng, June 11th, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. Everything in the world has its own value, and every person has their own value in existence. If something loses its value or a person loses his value, it doesn't mean that the value itself disappears. It means that the thing or the person is in the wrong time and place or engaged in the wrong occupation. A pile of cow dung has value when placed at the roots of plants, but it loses its value when placed on a sandy beach. A diamond has value when set in a crown, but it loses its existence value when buried in the ground. Someone with a great singing voice has value as a singer, but they have no value as a coal miner. A person skilled in gardening can create enormous value in a field, but if they engage in artificial intelligence research, they cannot demonstrate their value in existence. A shallow but sexually appealing girl has value in engaging in nightlife work, but if she manages a company, she not only fails to demonstrate her value but may also bring chaos to the company. When treasures are misplaced or used incorrectly, they become garbage. But when garbage is placed correctly, it becomes a treasure. A genius engaged in the wrong profession becomes a fool, while a fool engaged in the right profession becomes a genius. If Elon Musk had continued to live in South Africa, he would have been just a minor employee in some company. If he had lived in certain countries, he would have been labeled as mentally ill and sent to a mental institution. But by entering the United States, he became a world-renowned genius among geniuses. I believe that there are no idiots, mediocre individuals, or wasted talents in the world. Everyone is a genius, outstanding, and capable. The reason why there are many fools, mediocre individuals, and wasted talents is that they haven't been placed in the right positions or given the opportunity to showcase their natural talents. What causes geniuses to become fools, mediocrities, or wasted talents? The answer is marriage and family, national consciousness, state consciousness, religious ideologies, and centralized management systems. Why are there no fools, mediocrities, or wasted talents in heaven? Because there is no marriage and family, no national or state consciousness, no religion, and no centralized administrative management. Why do many people spend their whole lives practicing cultivation or Buddhism but ultimately fail to achieve enlightenment? Because if they lose their true nature and act according to their heart, how can they become immortals or Buddhas? True cultivation lies in not deliberately cultivating, true achievement lies in not striving, true planning lies in not scheming, and the divine will lies in not desiring. Any deliberate cultivation, education, guidance, or effort to achieve a purpose is the most effective way to turn oneself and others into fools, mediocrities, or wasted talents. Can you breathe fresh air while living in smog? Can you become a philosopher while living under autocratic rule? If you cannot demonstrate your value in existence, or even live a life without value, subjective factors account for 3 points, and objective factors account for 7 points. Even if you are a unique and extraordinary plant, you cannot emit a hint of greenness in the cold winter covered in ice and snow. It can be attributed to timing, luck, and destiny. 人造环境，环境造人. Humans create the environment transforms humans. Xiefeng, June 7, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. Nature has bestowed upon humanity all the resources for life. How to utilize these natural resources to create a beautiful and comfortable environment depends on the richness of the human spirit and soul. We can observe the yards of different households. Some families, although not economically affluent, have clean and tidy yards with blooming flowers and fruit trees. On the other hand, some families have lifeless yards filled with garbage, dirty and unkempt. With the same conditions, different individuals create different living environments. When we look at the social living environments in countries like the United States, China, and Japan, we find stark differences. In the United States, private property and territory are sacred and inviolable. In China, there is a promotion of wealth equality and common prosperity. In Japan, private enterprises are protected, allowing century-old businesses to thrive. This indicates that the values of Americans, Chinese, and Japanese are completely different, resulting in vastly different social living environments. For example, there is a piece of land in front of a house. Some people prefer to transform it into a lawn, while others prefer to grow vegetables. Some may turn it into a small square. Different consciousness leads to different environmental choices. From this, we can understand that the environment is a product of human consciousness. The kind of consciousness one possesses determines their living environment. Conversely, the environment can transform individuals. The story of Mencius' mother's 3 moves best illustrates the impact of the environment on a person. Mencius' mother moved 3 times in order to provide a better environment for her son's growth. Initially, they lived near a cemetery, where Mencius would play among the graves. His mother realized that staying there would ruin her child's potential, so they moved next to a market. However, Mencius would spend his days playing as if he were a merchant. His mother felt that this place wouldn't allow her son to grow healthily, so they moved again, this time next to a school. There, Mencius would engage in games of ritual and respect. The environment, being a graveyard, led Mencius to learn funeral customs and blow trumpets. The environment being a slaughterhouse, Mencius learned how to butcher pigs and sheep. The environment being a school, Mencius developed a love for reading and learning etiquette. Understanding the principle that humans create environment and environment transforms humans establishes a guiding beacon for human development. As individuals, we should first determine what kind of person we want to become. If we aspire to be materially wealthy, we should go to places where money is abundant and markets are prosperous. If we want to be skilled debaters, we should go to places with many people and lively debates. If we desire to become celestial beings, we should immerse ourselves in the serene beauty of nature with few inhabitants. If we aspire to become a Buddha, we should seek environments where we have nothing but possess everything. Living with virtuous people is like entering a room filled with fragrant orchids. If you stay there for a long time and will not smell their fragrance, that's because you are influenced by and used to them. Living with wicked people is like entering a fish market. If you stay there for a long time and will not smell the stench, that's also because you are influenced by and used to them. If you want to emanate a pleasant fragrance, surround yourself with flowers. If you want to emit a foul odor, stay in the toilet. If you deeply understand that you are currently in the toilet and aspire to live among flowers, the best way is to leave the toilet, break free from its confines, and enter an environment where flowers bloom. The principles are clear, the path is well defined, but the dilemma lies in how to break free from the barriers of the toilet. It's difficult, especially when there are entanglements of family, emotions, and debts. Escaping the toilet is as challenging as reaching the blue sky. In the end, we will realize that heaven exists, but we cannot step beyond the door of the toilet. The greatest obstacle that prevents us from transcending is the ties of family, emotions, and debts. Once we are free from these attachments, heaven is not far away. However, who among ordinary people can truly overcome the threshold of family, emotions, and debts? 谁在卡中国脖子? Who is strangling China? Xiefeng. June 5, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. Once someone's neck is caught, the symptoms include difficulty breathing, sore throat, headache, dizziness, loss of motivation, facial redness. Online, it is said that American imperialism has been strangling China. Has China really had trouble breathing and a loss of motivation? Absolutely not. China is the world's second-largest economy, known as a powerful nation, and a country that vows to take revenge no matter the distance. How can a country composed of over 1.4 billion people be strangled by a country with a population of just over 300 million? Are we pretending to be pitiful, as if someone is strangling our necks? Is China really that pitiful? It is a contemptuous and insulting statement to portray China as a helpless victim. The claim of being strangled is purely a contemptuous and derogatory view towards China and its people. The argument that the evil American imperialism is strangling China is unfounded. If our neighbor cultivates a new type of apple and neither sells it to us nor shares it with us, that is their right. Can we say that our neighbor is strangling us? If the wicked American empire produces chips but refuses to sell or share them with us, can we say they are strangling us? If such an argument were valid, may I ask if you have sold or shared your newly invented treasure with your neighbor? Imagine you have just married a beautiful and charming wife, and your honeymoon is not even over, but your neighbor demands that you sell or share your wife with them. If not, they claim that you are strangling them. Is this reasonable? If you invent a new type of solar battery, but the raw materials must be purchased from your neighbor, who refuses to sell them to you, then we can say that your neighbor is strangling you. Who is truly strangling China's neck? A significant number of talented individuals from China have joined the enemy camp. Who forced them? A substantial amount of wealth from China has flowed into the homes of the enemy. Who orchestrated this? A large number of foreign investments and foreign companies are withdrawing, while numerous domestic businesses are shutting down. Who is responsible for this? The returning to mountains for rice cultivation, an intellectually deficient and nonsensical idea that goes against basic natural laws. Who came up with it? One moment it's returning forests for farming, then it's returning farming for forests, and then it's returning forests for farming again. Who is responsible for this wasteful and inconsistent act? Instead of using limited steel for blades, we have created urban management, agricultural management, and cultural management, which consume vast amounts of resources and manpower. Instead of focusing on construction and creating wealth, efforts are being made to control people and seek wealth through fines. Who has such farsightedness? Someone has invented a new model for production and life, which brings happiness to the Chinese people, but they have been labeled an illegal organization and subjected to long-term suppression. Illegal actions of those in power are deemed legal, while the legitimate actions of ordinary people are considered illegal. The truth is silenced, while lies run rampant. Who is confusing right and wrong? You see, the ones truly strangling China's neck are not the evil American imperialism, but the Chinese people themselves. 寄予联合国. Message to the United Nations. Xiefeng. May 16, 2023. Translated by ChatGPT. Edited by Jiejing. Dear United Nations, to speak honestly, I am a bit disappointed with you. You are already 78 years old, dedicating your whole life to promoting international security, economic development, social progress, human rights, civil liberties, political freedom, democracy, and global cooperation for peace. Especially in assisting people affected by natural and social disasters, you have made tremendous efforts and done your best. However, what is the current state of the world? Have your ideals been realized? Have your wishes been fulfilled? Russia's aggression against Ukraine has left you powerless, with nearly 100 million refugees worldwide that you cannot handle. You are unable to assist nearly 1 billion people threatened by hunger, and you are powerless in the face of escalating climate change and humanitarian crises. Where is the crux of the problem? The crux lies in the fact that you should prioritize teaching people to fish before giving them fish. However, you always focus on giving fish instead of teaching to fish. You fail to address the root causes and instead find yourself constantly fighting fires. It's like trying to eradicate flies without improving environmental hygiene. Can flies ever be completely eliminated? By always giving fish without teaching, how many fish do you have to give? Isn't it a constant struggle? How can we teach people to fish? By completely transforming the traditional modes of production and life of humanity. All the disasters and problems throughout human history stem from our modes of production and life. Unless we change the traditional modes, the conflicts, contradictions, and disasters of human existence will never end. How can we change the traditional modes of production and life? Life Genuine has already prepared both in theory and practice by proposing the model of the second home, which replaces the traditional modes of production and life. If you have countless questions and don't understand, come to me. I will provide a detailed explanation for you. 呼吁美国无条件接受非法越境者. Call for the U.S. to unconditionally accept illegal border crossers. May 14, 2023. Xiefeng. Translated by ChatGPT. Edited by Tong Xin. Hello, America. According to online news, on May 11th, the U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security announced during a White House briefing that illegal border crossers would be deported. As a common citizen, I appeal to the U.S. to unconditionally accept illegal border crossers for the following reasons. If legal entry were possible, no one would choose to cross the border illegally. Illegality is a result of being forced, not a choice made by individuals. When people feel hopeless and have no other options for survival, any nonviolent, illegal means for survival are legal. The so-called law that blocks people's livelihood is itself illegal. A person who travels 1,000 miles or even 10,000 miles and endures countless hardships to seek refuge in the U.S., but is refused entry and then deported as illegal, is inhumane, cruel, and unworthy of respect. With abundant resources and as the world's leading superpower, the U.S. has the capacity and ability to accept illegal border crossers. As long as they can survive in their own country, few people are willing to risk their lives and travel great distances to seek refuge in the U.S. Those who come to you have already trusted you. Do not reject those who trust you. Otherwise, any claims of democracy, freedom, human rights, and the rule of law are all false. Don't assume that all illegal immigrants are coming to reap the benefits of America's economic prosperity. If you accept them, 95% of illegal border crossers will become diligent wealth creators and steadfast defenders of the American system. The fewer people who abandon you, the more who come to you, the greater your glory. Glory is a noble symbol. The more illegal border crossers you accept, the more dignity and strength you will have. The whole world is watching you. If you deport illegal border crossers, you are extinguishing the flicker of hope in the hearts of the kind, hard-working masses of the world. You will betray the creed of "In God we trust" and lead to decline. He who wins the hearts of the people wins the world. He who loses the hearts of the people loses the world. Where the people's hearts go, there will be prosperity, civilization, strength, and eternal life. Where the people's hearts do not go, there will be poverty, ignorance, barbarism, and backwardness. May you be a land where the people's hearts go, rather than where their hearts do not. 平等平均民主背离文明. Equality, uniformity, democracy deviating from civilization. Xiefeng. June 22, 2023. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Ideas of equality, such as equality before the greatest creator, all men are created equal, equality before the law, and equality of all beings, have deeply ingrained in human consciousness. Upon reflection, I believe these notions of equality have given rise to inequality and deviated from the path of civilization. Ideas like egalitarianism, equalizing wealth, and common prosperity seem aimed at eradicating oppression and exploitation, allowing everyone equal access to resources and welfare. However, in essence, they generate greater oppression and exploitation. Democracy may seem to leverage everyone's intelligence to make decisions and address all emotions and demands. Yet, in reality, it suppresses the saints, stifles the future, allowing erroneous thoughts and flawed systems to persist without correction, spreading continuously. Is equality before the greatest creator true? It depends on our understanding. If we acknowledge that everyone must face death, then equality before the greatest creator is right. If we understand that everyone will receive rewards or punishments based on their actions, then equality before the greatest creator is also right. But if we believe that everyone before the greatest creator must be equally handsome, equally beautiful, equally tall, enjoy the same benefits, eat 2 buns every meal, and meet the same fate, then equality before the greatest creator is wrong. Is all men are created equal true? Are they all born in royal or wealthy families or in slums? Are they all born with attractive features? Undoubtedly, everyone is not born equal. The true meaning of all men are created equal is that no one should face discrimination or oppression due to factors like birth, wealth, or intelligence, rather than being identical in all aspects from birth. Is equality before the law true? The laws of the wolves towards sheep are definitely unequal laws. Those in power can arbitrarily label others as illegal and impose sanctions. Therefore, equality before the law is an empty phrase. Whether it's equalizing wealth, egalitarianism, or common prosperity, all entail severe exploitation and oppression. If A produces 10 watermelons and B produces 2, then dividing 6 each between A and B is a form of exploitation and oppression for A, as well as a strike against one's initiative, creativity, and enthusiasm for work. What is civilization? Civilization is about justice, not equality, uniformity, or democracy. Civilization involves ensuring that the creators of wealth can securely enjoy the fruits of their labor. Protecting homes built through one's labor from external disturbances is civilization. Safeguarding the weak from the bullying of the strong is civilization. Allowing every individual's nature to flourish without constraints is civilization. Ensuring provisions for the elderly and care for the young is civilization. It is just for someone who hasn't contributed to face starvation or death by hunger, but it is undeniably unjust for someone who consistently contributes to experience the same fate. If laborers have food, clothing, shelter, and freedom of movement, that signifies a civilized society. If laborers have no way out, it contradicts civilization. Justice treats everyone impartially, without favoring a minority or majority, those in power or the masses, the rich or the poor, the elite or those with average intelligence and abilities. Immediate punishment for wrongdoers symbolizes societal civilization. A delayed punishment for wrongdoers, by 2 or 3 years, indicates that the entire society has not yet embraced the path of civilization and remains in a state of barbarism. My viewpoint is that the pursuit of equality, uniformity, and democracy will not lead humanity into a civilized society. Only by pursuing justice can humanity enter a civilized society. 雪峰大魔头又要妖言惑众了. Xie Feng, the great demon king, is spreading deceitful words again. Xie Feng, July 1st, 2023. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Throughout my journey, those who have deceived and wronged me were the poor, the unfortunate, and the powerful. The affluent have never deceived or harmed me. Reflect on your experiences. Is it the same for you? I have grievances against Jesus Christ. You had divine powers. Why didn't you directly lead humanity into the kingdom of the greatest creator, instead of letting ordinary people endure over 2,000 years of suffering? How much longer must the people suffer under your watch? Haven't 2,000 years been enough? I have grievances against Buddha Shakyamuni. Supreme in heaven and earth, your teachings are boundless in power. Yet, after over 2,000 years, countless beings still cannot escape the sea of suffering. Is it your teachings' incompetence, or do they pale in comparison to the sorcery of demonic forces? I have grievances against Confucianism. Since Emperor Wu of Han adopted Dongzhongshu's, suppressing all other schools, venerating Confucianism policy, you Confucians have wielded power. However, over 2,000 years, how many common people have suffered and perished? What kind of life have they led? Your Confucian ideology ruled China for over 2,000 years, and the common people endured suffering for the same duration. You Confucians have truly deceived the common folks. I have grievances against the Chinese common people. For thousands of years, you have always hoped for the appearance of a wise ruler, yearned for an oriental sage to descend. Yet, for over 2,000 years, no wise ruler has emerged, and no sage from the East has descended to save you. Are you still waiting? Keep waiting. When your great-great-great-great-grandchildren are on their deathbeds, the wise ruler will finally appear. The sage will descend. You are irredeemably ignorant. I have grievances against Communist Party members. I do not know if I can voice my grievances against Communist Party members without facing censorship and suppression, but I'll cautiously raise a question. Is your oath to struggle for communism throughout your life genuine or false? If you encountered real communism, would you be afraid? What exactly is sinology, guoxue? Is it the study that upholds the country? Or as Lu Xun put it, when I open up China's history, there are no timelines. On every crooked page are written the words benevolence, righteousness, morality. I could not sleep. After careful scrutiny in the dead of night, I saw between the lines, the whole book was filled with two words, eating people. Following Lu Xun's speculation, sinology is the study of eating people. Since then, I'm too scared to read or listen to sinology. Contact with a virus causes infection. Does contact with the unfortunate infect you with their plight? Does contact with barbarism infect you with barbarity? No, it does not. Does contact with a black person infect you with blackness? Contact with a white person infects you with whiteness? Contact with an Asian infect you with Asianness? Contact with the poor infects you with poverty? Contact with the rich infects you with wealth? Near vermilion, one turns red. Near ink, one turns black. That cannot be true, right?
如何走出自己的认知边界？
How to break out of your cognitive boundaries. Xiefeng, July 13, 2023. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Cognitive boundaries are like walls. They both protect and limit us. If life is comfortable and easy, do not venture beyond your cognitive boundaries. Living within your own walls until old age can also be considered a decent life. But if you feel miserable, stifled, or oppressed within your walls, it's time to knock them down and step outside. Stepping beyond these walls, i.e., your cognitive boundaries, starts with admitting when you're wrong. If you always believe you're right, you'll never break free from those walls. The sufferings in this world are mostly created by those who think they're right. Those who endure suffering and hardship usually believe they are right. So, when you think you're right, you're already wrong. You've created cognitive boundaries, built walls, and constructed your own prison. For instance, for thousands of years, the Chinese people have anticipated the appearance of a wise ruler to save them. They now anticipate the arrival of an Eastern sage. This is a cognitive boundary. Without breaking this boundary, they'll forever remain in confinement. Instead of considering solving problems through legality and procedures, they perpetually hope for a wise ruler or an Eastern sage to save them. It's not just ignorance, it's sheer folly. Change the country or immigrate. This represents a major breakthrough in the cognitive boundaries of Indians. Currently, 32 million Indians have renounced their Indian citizenship to become citizens of other countries. How do these Indians who have relinquished their birth nationality for other countries fare? The current Prime Minister of the UK, Sajid Javid, is of Indian descent. In the US, many high-ranking executives in major tech companies like Microsoft and Google are of Indian origin. In 1993, in Zimbabwe, I noticed nearly half of the shops and cities were owned by Indians. Similarly, in various places like South Africa, Mozambique, Angola, Ethiopia, Botswana, Tanzania, I found numerous Indians engaged in business. In 2016, visiting Pacific Island nations like Fiji and Vanuatu, I discovered many shops were run by Indians. In 2017, coming to Canada and staying in various cities, I found that the owners and staff in the hotels I stayed at were mostly Indians. Even at the Walmart supermarket, the managers and most employees were Indians. If these dispersed Indians hadn't ventured beyond their cognitive boundaries and stayed in their homeland, they wouldn't have achieved such success. Breaking cognitive boundaries brought them opportunities, wealth, and a vast realm of life, ensuring a better future for their descendants. In our understanding, relatives are those connected by blood ties. Without blood relations, they are not considered family. Consequently, we end up with only a few relatives in our lives. However, if we break this cognitive boundary and consider everyone close and intimate as family, irrespective of region or race, without categorizing by status or position, we realize that we can have numerous relatives in this life. The life of someone with just a few relatives differs entirely from someone with many relatives. With only a few relatives, our scope, range, and life's boundaries are limited. But the more relatives we have, the broader our scope, range, and activities become. I have several strangers around me whom I treat as family, and as a result, I receive care and assistance from them, akin to family, even more effective than my own biological children. Graduate from school and find a job versus graduate from school and start a business represents two entirely different cognitive perspectives. If parents only intend for their children to graduate and secure a good job, then during technical school, college, or university, the focus will revolve around finding employment. But if parents intend for their children to start a business after graduation, their educational focus will entirely revolve around entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs tend to value practicality, while job seekers focus more on formalities. This difference, over time, results in a significant disparity in life experiences and perceptions, leading to different tastes in life. Without money, you cannot get things done is a cognitive boundary for some. With this belief, their entire life revolves around money, and over time, their thoughts and actions carry a sense of vulgarity, giving off a sense of superficiality, and they tend to ignore, even contempt the blessings like love, sexuality, morality, justice, the Tao, and spirituality. In fact, everyone lives within their own cognitive boundaries. For example, believing that death is the end of life. If someone holds this belief, they'll never find the door to heaven. It's hard for us to comprehend why some people choose to commit suicide. However, suicide occurs because within their cognitive boundaries, they cannot find reasons or opportunities to continue living. At this critical moment, if they could break free from these cognitive boundaries, they would realize, wow, life's path is so vast. Stepping beyond cognitive boundaries opens up a vast world.
创造和维护一片绿荫
Creating and maintaining a green oasis. Xiefeng, July 28, 2023. Translation edited by Qin Yu. The 2023 Canadian wildfires are widely known, sparked by drought. If rain nurtured every place constantly, wildfires would cease to exist. This year, even at the headquarters of the Life-Echanuan in Canada, the situation was no different. Drought had turned the 50-acre lawn from green to a dusty yellow, devoid of vitality. However, within 10 meters around the residential and guest buildings, there's a lush green area with blooming flowers, brimming with life. Why? There's no secret. It's just watering the lawn, using sprinklers to moisten it as rain would. Amidst drought and water shortages, the government restricts water usage. At our place, watering the lawn is permitted only between 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Watering the lawn is prohibited between 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. So, it's impossible to water the entire 50-acre lawn, only maintaining the greenery around the residential and guest buildings. Watering can create and maintain a green oasis during drought. Likewise, using spirituality can create an idyllic haven amidst restless and despairing hearts. To create a green oasis, plants need water. To maintain it, timely watering is crucial. Every day, in the morning and evening, I timely water the plants, maintaining the greenery. To create an idyllic haven, a spiritual paradise, injecting spirituality and nourishment into people's hearts is essential. To maintain this spiritual paradise, timely spiritual nourishment is imperative. Every day, every month, every year, I timely nurture the spiritual heart of Chanyuan Celestials, maintaining a green oasis, the second home on earth. Without water, lawns will lose vitality during drought, becoming lifeless. Without spiritual nourishment, homes will crumble amidst the chaos and fall into silence. 看看自己有多幸福. Take a look at how fortunate you are. Xiefeng, August 6, 2023. Translation edited by Qinyu. If every day you can bask in the radiant sunlight, feeling its warmth upon your skin, that's tremendous wealth, indeed, happiness. If every day you breathe in fresh air, surrounded by boundless clear skies and beautiful landscapes, congratulations, you're among the wealthiest in the world. Oh, what happiness! If your abode is graced by a clear river or a babbling brook, or if you have a serene lake to admire nearby, your days are enviable. Such happiness. If each day you have enough food to satisfy hunger and a sheltered refuge for peaceful sleep, allowing for dreams without insomnia, you are among those blessed by the heavens. Rejoice. Happiness. If you have a plot of land to cultivate or a pursuit that brings enduring joy, congratulations. You are a fortunate soul. If you have well-proportioned facial features, strong and agile limbs, healthy functioning internal organs, and a disease-free body, take pride. You are surely heaven's darling, among the luckiest in the world. If each day someone accompanies you for conversation, shares meals and work, you are blessed. If there are playful arguments, laughter, and jovial banter, my goodness, you must have had good karma in your past life. Your life is so fortunate. If you have a few opposite-sex confidants throughout your life who can share intimate moments with you, oh my, you are so fortunate. Your life is enviable, stirring envy and jealousy in others. If you possess all of the aforementioned conditions, then you are truly blessed with an abundant destiny. You must be a favored child of the greatest Creator. Do not seek happiness elsewhere. You are happiness itself, leading a blissful life. But if possessing all this leaves you dissatisfied, if you envy others or aspire to be a success, wanting fame and fortune, that's greed. It's being born amidst fortune, yet failing to recognize it, seeking trouble. Simply put, it's an ignorance of life, and you're a fool, an idiot, a blockhead. 人生24项才，富你拥有几项? Life's 24 treasures. How many do you possess? Xiefeng, August 6, 2023. Translation edited by Qinyu. In life, there are 24 treasures. If you possess them all, you are the most affluent person in the world. Even if you have half, 12 of them, you are not. Take a look at how many you possess. Sunlight, 2. Blue skies, 3. Drinking water, 4. Clean air, 5. Land to cultivate, 6. The ability to hear rooster crowing and birds singing, 7. Salt, 8. Something to do every day, 9. Clothes to wear, 10. Shelter to live in, 11. Food to fill your stomach, 12. Someone cares, loves, helps, and remembers you, 13. One or two intimate friends, 14. Someone you care, love, and remember deeply, 15. Enjoying watermelon and peaches in summer, 16. Access to a phone and books, 17. Regular visits from friends and family, or there are relatives and friends available to visit, 18. A healthy body, 19. No debts or owing money to others, 20. Faith and ideals, 21. Life has objectives, and there's a direction to life, 22. A heart willing to serve others, 23. Cheerful, optimistic, romantic emotions and sentiments, 24. Having plentiful sexual partners. If you possess these 24 treasures, you're a magnate in this world. Henceforth, do not envy emperors, wealthy individuals, or government officials because you are the most blessed person in the world. 回不去的故乡. Unreturnable hometown. Xiefeng, August 9, 2023. Translation edited by Qinyu. Life's vicissitudes. Many places we long to visit can never be revisited. Many people we long to see can never be seen again. When we departed initially, if we knew that parting meant an impossible return or reunion, we would have taken another look, stored more memories of our hometown in the warehouse of our minds. Those easy goodbyes, back then, were never thought to be the final wave to those we yearned to meet. Each parting became a permanent farewell. Parting is easy, reuniting difficult. Life is long, but time and tide wait for no man. How priceless is this affection, yet what can be done about it? The wind and the moon mock me for being naive for every passing year. In the journey of life, things that once seemed ordinary, mundane, and commonplace were not cherished at that time, nor considered precious. However, upon realizing the inability to revisit or re-experience them, those experiences became incredibly invaluable. Year after year, day after day, moment after moment, we've always been amidst precious experiences. Yet, due to their apparent ordinariness, we neglected their value and significance. However, when the realization dawns that those experiences cannot be replicated, we discover the heavens and earth may last long, but sometimes emotions come to an end, yet this regret remains ceaseless. How much resentment in the west wind, unable to blow away the frown. Mutual hatred lacks trust. Mutual understanding reveals shallow seas. In the vast expanse of life's path, along with every acquaintance, there is a continual journey of fondness and regret. Once we recognize someone, before long, it turns into yearning, then resentment. How many deep affections and friendships have been severed across distant lands, yearning for reunions amidst landscapes of formidable mountains and flowing rivers, yet finding no way to come together again. Thus, we walk this road, leaving pieces of ourselves, journeying amidst longing, yearning to speak but remaining silent, truest when love cuts to the bone. Let's cherish moments by smiling when scolded by parents, for such chances are rare. Cherish those times when siblings tease, as sibling affection is deep as the sea. Once severed, the cost of regret is high. Cherish the moment when you meet someone, even if they complain. For someone you've been intimate with is life's blessing, the most worthwhile chapter of life, worth cherishing, worth growing old together with, sharing life's stories with. Cherish the friendships with neighbors, friends, and relatives. Endure when disagreements arise, for these moments constitute the landscape of our life's journey. What seemed insignificant in youth becomes the invaluable treasures of life when old age and sunset arrive. Life is sorrowful. The hometown we cannot return to, the people we cannot see anymore. Life is joyful. The countless amorous feelings and inexhaustible scenery along the way. Though the mountains are high and the waters vast, full of doubt for the road ahead, I have a way to avoid sorrow and embrace joy. If you wish to reunite with loved ones year after year and share endless moments of bliss on the journey of life, then embark on the journey of immortality together, leaving behind the bone-deep yearning. The path of immortality and celestial love is layered and vast. Rivers merging with rivers, peaks connecting with peaks. Flowers bloom on the hills, fragrance fills the path. Phoenixes echo in the valleys, forest murmurs. Small bridges overflowing waters, ancient pavilions on long roads, heartfelt conversations, hand in hand toward the horizon, extraordinary scenery awaits.
了解自然之力，借助自然之力。
Understanding the force of nature, employing its power. Xiefeng. August 11th, 2023. Translation edited by Qinyu. The most sensitive, unimaginable, miraculous, potent, intimidating, and unchallengeable force in the universe is the power of nature. It permeates the operation of the cosmos and all human activities, both shaping and influencing the success, failure, destiny, and prospects of everyone. Nature's power comprises both visible and invisible elements. The visible includes phenomena like typhoons, hurricanes, earthquakes, torrential rain, among others. The invisible encompasses the seemingly commonplace forces that make seeds germinate and grow, keep the celestial bodies moving, sustain the cycles of the seasons, and even cause disasters in an instant. A person of integrity, though not actively seeking fortune, the heavens guide them unexpectedly to achieve their heartfelt aspirations. A devious individual, despite craftily avoiding misfortune, the heavens intervene at their cunning moments to seize their soul. The force behind guiding unexpectedly and seizing their soul is the unseen power of nature. A tiny seed can grow into a towering tree. A small fertilized egg can develop into an incredibly complex life. An ordinary person can become a world-shaking leader. A powerful empire can crumble. A prominent figure can be imprisoned or even executed. Behind all these occurrences lies the true power of nature. As one grows older, reminiscing about life, many pivotal moments are realized as beyond personal control, seemingly prearranged. No one wishes to face hardships and setbacks, yet they arrive unexpectedly. Some people suddenly rise to prominence only to fall abruptly, a sequence beyond their control, unexpected and unforeseen. Life seems to be governed by an elusive force that makes one sigh. The mysteries of heaven are divine. Human cleverness is of little use. The power of nature is enigmatic and unpredictable, but is there a pattern to follow? The Book of the Supreme Way's responsiveness teaches us, speak, see, and act in goodness. If 3 good deeds are performed in a day, blessings will come within 3 years. Speak, see, and act in evil. If 3 evil deeds are done in a day, calamities will come within 3 years. It truly reflects that misfortune and fortune are self-induced. This is the most straightforward and easily comprehensible rule of nature's power. Myriad complex phenomena teach us one principle. If you desire a fortunate, healthy, and happy life, do not invest in manipulation and adaptability. Do not exert efforts in amassing wealth or networking. Instead, focus on nurturing your soul garden. Avoiding wrongdoing is the safest path to preventing stumbles in life. By dedicating oneself, accumulating virtues, bringing goodness, joy, and happiness to others, society, and nature, employing the power of nature, life becomes smoother, and one can evade disasters. However, if one brings pain and harm to others, society, or nature, the force of nature will inevitably administer a corresponding punishment. Everything is born, grows, is punished, and eventually perishes by nature. In harmony with nature, there is birth and growth. In opposition to nature, there is punishment and destruction. Desiring to reach heaven, do not exert effort in gong, methods, techniques, or intelligence. Avoid investing in complex matters. Instead, focus on the simplest task, cultivating your inner soul garden. The force of nature will generously reward those who maintain a beautiful soul garden. 乞丐的启示, The Lesson from a Beggar. Xiefeng, August 13, 2023. Translation edited by Qin Yu. What's the primary characteristic of a beggar? Rural beggars carry empty bowls, going door to door seeking food. Urban beggars occupy street corners, extending their hands for money. Their common trait, they seek alms from others. Anyone who extends their hand, seeking alms from others, is a beggar. This enlightens us. Anyone not creating or unwilling to serve others for sustenance will eventually become a beggar. Beggars are not destitute. Some are physically capable and able-bodied, while others possess great wealth. Their common psychological trait is stinginess. They are unwilling to utilize their abilities or wealth and seek to gain without effort. In life, one must persistently engage in at least one of these 4 activities. 1. Creating material wealth. 2. Cultivating spiritual wealth. 3. Nurturing soul wealth. 4. Serving others. If one engages in none of the above, irrespective of their status, be it an emperor or a commoner, wealthy or poor, official or common citizen, religious or non-religious, famous or just one among many, they are essentially beggars. The antonym of a beggar is a benefactor, someone who selflessly gives material, spiritual, or soul wealth without expecting anything in return. Those who offer service without anticipating a reward are benefactors. A benefactor is someone with the compassionate heart of a bodhisattva. They are the truly wealthy ones. Those who, despite being materially poor, bring joy to others are not beggars but wealthy individuals. In conclusion, anyone who does not create wealth or offer service yet continuously depends on external resources and services from others is a beggar. Once reduced to a beggar, one loses the dignity of a living being and forfeits the eligibility to ascend to heaven. 让我们开始学说话. Let's start learning to speak. Xiefeng, August 18, 2023. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Firstly, I repent to the greatest creator because I have uttered many improper words. From now on, I'll speak cautiously, avoiding creating suffering due to inappropriate words. Words spoken by the mouth have the power to revive life, to turn around situations, to bring light in the darkest times, to provide warmth akin to spring, to uplift the despairing, to comfort the sorrowful, to ignite passion in desolate hearts, to show the dawn to the lost, to be inspired and live positively thereafter. Some words even lead to enlightenment, becoming Buddha or celestial. Conversely, words spoken from human mouths can subtly kill, distort truths, provoke chaos, shatter the hopeful into desperation, break friendships, blur right and wrong, slander the innocent, portray black as white, instill fear, crush people's belief and confidence in life, lead one astray from the righteous path, mislead to the point of confusion, and transform individuals into malevolent beings. If one cannot master the art of words, it not only harms others and society but also affects relatives and friends, leaving behind boundless karmic obstacles for oneself, making escape from the cycle of existence unattainable. There are 8 types of speech that should never be uttered: passive, negative, and pessimistic, sowing discord and creating rifts in relationships, cursing others, complaining and grumbling, holding grudges, gossiping behind others' backs, sarcasm, ridicule, mockery, threats, violence, deceit, and tempting others to commit crimes, blasphemy against the greatest creator, spirits, masters, ancestors, or benefactors. Conversely, there are 8 types of speech one should wholeheartedly express: warm and comforting words, words that bring joy and happiness, uplifting and encouraging words, positive, optimistic, and constructive words, inspirational words fostering a longing for a better life, humorous and witty words that make people burst into laughter, praising and appreciating others and life itself, hymns and prayers to the ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator. Speaking is an art and a form of cultivation. Apart from speaking words that benefit oneself without causing harm, the tone, expression, and attitude are also crucial. A gentle tone, a friendly expression, and a soft attitude, even while criticizing, make it easier for others to accept. Conversely, a harsh tone, stern expression, a disdainful and aggressive attitude, or even hysterics, even if the words spoken are truthful and beneficial, make it challenging for people to accept and might incite resistance. In life, those unable to speak properly will face difficulties and setbacks. On the other hand, those who are articulate will have advantages and will be a breath of fresh air to others, paving the way for a bright future. Have you learned to speak well? 不同的路上看到的风景不同. Different sceneries along different roads. Xiefeng. September 21, 2023. Translation edited